So excited to have one of the hottest offenses and the mastermind behind it on the podcast today. In season, a few days after the greatest offensive day his franchise has ever had. With no further ado, the offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Mr. Liam Coen. Welcome to the season with Peter Schrager.
Hey, thank you, Peter. Appreciate you having me on, man. This is awesome.
We have known each other for many years. I've charted your career from the college days to the Rams to Kentucky, and then now back to the Buccaneers. And yet, for all of the history that you've had running offenses and being a part of offenses, have you ever had a day where your team has put up the amount of yards, 594, like the Buccaneers did in New Orleans on Sunday?
No, I've really never been a part of a game like that. I mean, it was just credit to our players, our staff. I mean, these guys, so many of the things that happened on Sunday were a credit to their preparation, the week that we had getting out there and practicing at Tulane and injuries and guys stepping up and making plays. I mean, so often on Sunday you saw guys just catching a check down and making a play or breaking tackles and making plays. So as much as yes, it's great for us from an offensive standpoint, and I'm proud to be a part of it. I can't take much credit for it because those guys were the ones doing it on Sunday.
All right, take me through the week because on Tuesday we're all watching Weather Channel and I'm up in New York and you're seeing Hurricane Milton coming right at Tampa and you guys fly out 700 miles, get to New Orleans. A lot of people bring their families to New Orleans. Other people's families are going to Orlando or Gainesville. Take us through the Coen family. I know you got young kids and a beautiful wife. Take us through the actual week on Tuesday and where your folks were and how it all worked out for you to actually
Yeah,
settle in and pretend to think about football for a couple of days.
crazy weekend. Really, it started like Sunday morning. We got some information from the organization that said, "Hey, look, we might have to evacuate," and we're looking at what those options are. It was potentially go to Texas. It was go to Orlando. It was go to obviously New Orleans, and so started to look at some of those preparations on Sunday. My wife and I actually, it was her birthday on Tuesday last week, and we're going out and go shopping for her birthday present on Sunday, and we're trying to make some accommodations. We're looking at flights. We see that there's a bunch of flights available, and then her dad actually flew down from Cincinnati to Florida to come help her and the two
Oof.
kids go to Cincinnati, so they didn't make the trip to New Orleans. They were able to get out of Tampa Tuesday morning, where they were, or Monday evening, excuse me. They went out to Cincinnati. We had Noah's Ark on Tuesday when we flew, or Monday when we flew out of Tampa. Dogs, cats, families, everybody. Credit the Glazer family for doing that. I mean, what an unbelievable
So you guys get
gesture.
on a team plane, or is
Yeah,
it like, and then also, hey, if you've got three kids and a dog,
yeah.
you're welcome to come too. That's what the Glazers
hmm
said.
Yeah, they said all of your immediate family, pets, whomever, you need to essentially get out of Tampa and wasn't able to do so on their own. So we had two planes, got those things going. We flew out and man, as crazy as it was, our ops staff and facilities, they did an unbelievable job of making it pretty seamless. We were at three different hotels throughout the course of the week. We were at the Hyatt, we were at the Ritz, and we ended at the JW Marriott. So, so much went on, and it was kind of a blur. And then I end up missing my wife's birthday on Tuesday, and it was in the doghouse for a day or two. But uh, it was one of those weeks, man.
And then at some point, you put together an offensive game plan, and Rashad White goes down, and now it's all right. Sean Tucker and Bucky
Mhm.
Irving, and these guys combined for 200 plus yards, and you guys put up 594 yards of offense. Like in the grand scheme of it all, when you think about missing your wife's birthday and Noah's Ark and a hurricane coming to then Sunday having the greatest offensive day the franchise has ever had, take me through the actual game itself.
Yeah, you can't write it much better, I guess, except for the fact that, we came out, started fast. We go down on the first drive of the game, go score a touchdown on a really efficient drive. The guys were physical. We were completing passes, really efficient. Um, and then, we go down another drive, end up having to kick a field goal. The defense gets a stop, gets a turnover for a touchdown, 17-0. Things are really moving in the right direction. And then the second quarter hits, and we went three interceptions, multiple penalties. We went on a drive that didn't go forward for a single yard. So we've played, we've talked about this a number of times. We have yet to play 4 quarters of good football or 4 quarters of our best football.
Mm-hmm.
And so you come out of the second quarter, they take the lead. We go into halftime, and there was really no flinch, no blink. Those guys, the leaders, Coach Bowles, it was all like this. And the guys just really needed to recuperate, regain our focus, calm down, came out in the second half. The defense plays unbelievable. They hold them to 0 points in the second half, and we were able to get things going again and get the run game back on track. And credit to the guys up front. They played their tails off, and those backs made a lot of people miss.
So when you were interviewing for the job, one of the things that everyone in the media, myself including, were saying, well, he's got history with Baker Mayfield, but that history was so brief.
Right.
Baker got to the Rams when you were on the offensive staff and basically played for a few weeks. She came in, saved the day, won a Thursday night game on about 1 day's notice.
Yeah.
And then you get reunited in Tampa. Take us through your relationship with Baker, then in LA, and then now that you're together, and this is the quarterback who's really at the switch for your offense.
Yeah, I mean, when I got to know him early on in those weeks in LA, you just felt his confidence, even at a time where he was, being moved around. He was being traded around, and you felt confidence. Though he came out to practice, he practiced hard, he practiced well, he brought juice, he brought energy. He was fun to be around during the week. He kept it light but serious enough to know that obviously this is a job and this is our livelihood. So he was really fun to be around. He's an igniter. He's the type of person that you really just want to gravitate towards, and he's really a lineman at heart. Like, that's his personality.
I love this. What does that mean?
Those are his best friends. Those are his guys. He's just one of the guys. He's our franchise quarterback. He's obviously having a ton of success right now, but he is truly one of them. Those are the guys he takes out to dinner every week. Those are the guys he vacations with in the off season. So he is truly one of them, where it's not just like, okay, it's Baker and then the rest of the guys. He's an extension of us on the field in terms of his knowledge, his preparation, the way that he's doing things. I think for Baker, becoming a father and, just the maturation process that goes into, fatherhood and being a parent and obviously getting a new deal and being a franchise quarterback, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. I think it's really helped him in his maturation process of being a franchise quarterback.
Give me a funny Baker story, because I think he's actually got the best personality of any of these quarterbacks, and they're all doing commercials. And Baker used to do a ton of commercials, and he's actually a great actor on them. But like you said, levity, he brings levity. Dude. I think this guy, we talk with him, like, I think he's hilarious.
I mean, have you not seen the deal where he was one of our fans?
Yes. The Omaha,
so that's got to be
dressed up as a fan. Talk about it.
So I was actually a part of that, but I didn't know. So I'm in the weight room this summer, working out, getting a little sweat in with the guys, and all these fans come in with cameras and they're doing that whole production. He was standing right across from me and I had no idea. I had no clue. They leave. The strength coaches are like, dude, you didn't realize Baker was in there? And I'm like, I had no idea. So I end up going to the equipment room, poking my head in and seeing him. I mean, that's him though, right? Like, that whole act and that production, that's him all the time, right? He's like that on the football field. He's like that in the meeting rooms, but the preparation, the way he does things, it's phenomenal. So to me, that deal that they did is truly who he is.
Yeah. And you also happen to work with one of the greatest wide receivers to ever suit up. Now, you were in LA with Cup. You were in LA with a host of different weapons, Odell that year.
Yeah.
What's Mike Evans bring to the table that maybe the viewer or listener at home doesn't know?
Well, the thing that you don't realize about him is, until you get up close with him, first of all, how big he is and how quick he is at the line of scrimmage. his hand usage, the way that he can shed and release off the line of scrimmage for a person of his size is extremely impressive. And then, oh, wait, he has seen a million different coverages over the course of his career. He calls out coverage before the snap happens all the time. All the time. He'll be standing there, he'll see it, he'll peek, and he'll call the coverage out before it even
Is that
happens.
common for a wide receiver?
I wouldn't say that common. I mean, Cooper was
Yeah.
extremely high football IQ. He knew a lot of things, but Mike, he has seen probably more coverage defenses, double teams and different structures of trying to take him out of the game. So he has such a good feel for leverage, defenses, the way they're tilted pre-snap and how they move post-snap. I think that the viewers and fans would have even a much higher appreciation for Mike if you knew his IQ, his level of football knowledge, and what he puts into it.
Okay, as we wrap here, because we're gonna in the off season, you and I are gonna do a deep dive about an
Good.
hour on Liam Coen's story, and maybe we let the listeners in on how you and I got to know each other in 2011.
Yeah,
Yes, we have known each other for 13 years, Liam, and you know how proud I am and how awesome this is to see you helmet an NFL offense. But I do want to ask you your influences because we really reconnected when you got on McVay's staff,
yeah,
but you have been around some great football minds. Take us through your coaching journey just a little bit and who
yeah.
you pick and pluck your stuff from as we see this awesome Bucks attack.
I think first and foremost, it starts for playing for my dad and growing up watching him coach. I mean, he was a Division III college head coach and high school coach my entire career and life, actually, early on. So a lot of the core fundamentals and beliefs come from him. And then as I go and play, you go to college, and I played for Don Brown, and one of our coaches on staff, Brian Picucci, was my offensive line coach as a
Is that
player.
right?
Who I Yeah,
Okay,
so
cool.
hired him this year. So a lot of those influences are still, with me. And then I go and coach for Mark Whipple, who is a really big offensive mind for a long time there in the Northeast. And then you continue to move on and then end up getting to LA, and where I really felt like I got my PhD in coaching is what I've kind of always said is I learned more about X's and O's, defense, offense, special teams, culture, people from Sean. And, he's one of the biggest impacts and influences in my life, both on and off the field. So a lot of credit to those guys. And as you continue to go and you're in the SEC and you're watching other people do things and you take things from other people, there's a lot of good ball coaches out there. So a lot of those are the people that I was influenced by, more so probably Sean.
Yeah. And now you're with Todd Bowles and you're
Yep.
with what looks to be a really good group of men, both the coaches and the players.
Yes.
And on this one, it's up to date. Here comes Roquan Smith and here comes Kyle Hamilton. We got a Monday night bout against the Ravens. You had a busy week last week.
Yeah.
Now you got some actual Monday night football shine to it. How are you preparing as we are a few days in advance of what's going to be a huge showdown on MNF?
Huge challenge, like you mentioned. I mean, this is a group that is salty. They're a salty group. They run to the football. They play physical. They're dynamic with the way that they use, Marlon Humphreys and Hamilton and Roquan and those guys up front are pretty dominating when they really are getting after it. So this is a huge challenge for us, obviously, as is every week. But this one, they're number one in rush defense in the National Football League. A lot of times they're playing from a lead and getting ahead on people so quickly. We have got to be able to start fast and really kind of help dictate the terms of the game, because if you get into a one-way match with these guys, it's going to be difficult. If they know that you're just going to be dropping back and throwing it every snap, they've got the ability to rush for, play coverage, create a rush with those guys. So I've got a ton of respect for this defense, a ton of respect for this organization that we're going up against. It's going to be a great challenge for us, but I think our guys will be ready.
Hot off the press, this might be breaking news for you as you went straight from the practice field to this podcast. Got an email from the official NFL email account for immediate release. Sean Tucker named NFC Offensive Player of the Week for Week 6. Sean Tucker, second-year guy out of Syracuse, the best offensive player in all of football. If you had told me that back in August, I would have said, okay, that's a long shot. your reaction to Sean Tucker being named best single offensive player in the entire conference this week.
Just the credit to the kid to stay with it. He ever since we've gotten here as a staff, all that guy's done is take diligent notes, be engaged in all the meetings. Every time he's had an opportunity in practice, in preseason games, he has tried to show what he can do. He has stayed the course when things weren't probably looking great for him at times. And credit to Coach Skip Pete for getting him ready to play, obviously on a short week. And the guy stayed prepared. He stayed ready. It's just a great kid. He's just a great guy. So you really don't, you're so happy for him to have this moment.
192 yards from scrimmage, and then his teammate Bucky Irving had 80 yards on the ground and 40 yards receiving. Pretty good running attack out of there
Yeah.
from the Tampa Bay running back. Skip Pete, of course, the running backs coach. But Liam Coen, you are the offensive coordinator. We are so appreciative of your time. Go back to game planning and go figure out a way to light up that Ravens defense.
Thank you, Peter. Appreciate it, man.